Welcome back, everyone. Here we are with a snowy owl, the owl on top of the list for every owl finder and raptor collector. They're quite a bit rarer to find dead, and I think it's because of their hunting lifestyle. They're not nocturnal; they hunt during the daytime, and they don't necessarily need to come around the road to get mesmerized by the headlights at night and get hit by the trucks. So anyway, let's carve out the neck out of our foam. I'm not going to be talking too much over this video because pretty much the same process that you've seen on other owl videos are going to be applied on this owl as well. I'm going to chime in where it needs to be taken care of in terms of any points and whatnot, and the rest of the video I'll let you watch and enjoy. Carving out the neck here, if you notice, one end of the neck is a little bit wider, and that's where it's going to be attached to the skull, because when we're skinning the owl, the end of the neck that is attached to the skull has more muscle, and those are the muscles that makes the head turn around. So we try to basically copy the same as close as possible. And I always love to have the carcass right beside me, although I have carved the body out of foam already, but I still keep the frozen body close by so I can take measurements if I miss them and whatnot. So I like to have them handy for the length of the neck and other information that is going to come useful during the mount. So again, this video is going to be in two segments or two parts. The first part is going to be mounting, how we mount the animal, and then the second video is going to be about grooming and posing. Pay attention to the bend in the neck that I'm creating in there. So we go as close as possible to what the real neck movement is on the living bird. Get the hot glue going so we can glue and fuse that foam neck to the casted head. Pushing the neck wire right through the neck, and then adjusting my... Well, if you notice, I put two holes into the casted head, so the wire comes up and goes back down into the skull. And of course, I've created a little bit of a slot in there so the wire doesn't stick out of the surface of the skull on top. A little bit of a hot glue, and push the neck and fuse it to the skull. Boom, right there. It's the best adhesion that you can ask for. It doesn't move anywhere. I really like this. Yeah, if you experience the hot glue is melting your neck a lot because it's a soft foam, just don't let your hot glue to get too hot. Or even if it's too hot, after applying it on the casted head, just cool it off a little bit not too much. Just cool it off so it kind of melts, but not a lot. It melts the foam and basically it glues both the casted head to the neck perfectly good. Now we use our caliper to do the measurements and install the eyes. This is again one of my older videos that the bird has been mounted probably 4 or 5 months ago, but the video has been there. Like, I got a lot of older videos that I have to edit them and upload them on the channel. The newer videos are a little bit more detailed. As I'm going forward, you know, I learn how to make better videos. Again, you know, just being alone, not having any specific person working on the camera doesn't really make it easier. So, but anyway, we'll do our best to help you guys out. Yeah, when you install your you install your eyes on the casted head, the beauty of it is that you got full control of the skull. There's no skin attached to it, so it's not hanging in front of your eyes or in front of your sight, and so you can easily look at the skull from both sides, from behind, from forward, from underneath, from top, so you make sure that your eyes are there perfectly symmetric, which sometimes can be a challenge when you have a skin attached to the skull when you're working with the real skull. So once I'm satisfied with the angle and the symmetry of the eyes, I start doing some clay work around them. There's some voids that you need to fill with the clay. And once I'm satisfied, it's time to install the skull and the neck into the bird skin. Okay, now we got the skin ready, and dab drying the inside. Make sure that it's not too dry and it's not too wet. So basically, make sure usually some extra moisture gets trapped inside drumstick skin or inside the wings. And what I do is just for the legs are easy because I can pull the bone out and just totally dry it with my towel, as you can see. But when it comes to the wings, because I make an incision under the wing so I don't invert them, basically water can get trapped inside there. And because I usually sew up my wing incision before I even wash the bird, so I'm really creating a pocket. So what I do, I make sure to hold it like this and empty all the water that might be inside the skin or inside the bones when we blow out the marrow. And also I learned that if during the process, by the time I get to the wings, in the meantime, I push a bunch of cotton balls inside, and that'll help to absorb all the extra moisture and basically dry it out for me. I get it on my tweezers and just push it all along in there, and like 2, 3, or 4 on each side, and make sure that, and I squeeze it, just squeeze the skin on it, on the cotton ball. Cotton ball, you know, basically gets the moisture really good to itself. You know, it absorbs it really good. So by the time you're getting into it again and pulling them out, pretty much the inside of the wing skin is fairly dried out. Or I'd better say that the excess moisture is gone, because it's not going to be dry. Yeah, there's a little bit of an incision that I still have to sew on later. And there you go. So I invert the neck skin, make sure that there's no extra moisture trapped in there. Make sure that there's no holes or anything like that that I need to sew up. Okay, pull the neck skin again, you know, the right side out, and we are ready to install the neck and skull back into the skin. We slowly pull the skin, like the head skin, over the skull. Bring all the corners of the skin around the beak where they need to be glued. Make sure that there are, like, all corners, like the top and the bottom, under the chin, top of the nose, and both sides of the mouth. You basically you bring them there, but you're not gluing them right away. I usually like to glue the top, the bottom, and both corners, and then I work my way in between those 4 spots. And this way I usually, not usually, I always get the feathers or the skin glued exactly where they belong to. And keep in mind that around the face, around the beak of every animal on this planet, all of them, they have a super stretchy skin. And it's because of all the extra muscles that are there on the face for eating and the face movement and the chewing and whatnot. So the skin on every animal that I have worked usually comes out to be a lot more than what you think you need. And all you have to do, just make sure, don't let that excess of skin scare you, that you think your head is too small or anything like that. Just make sure that you have to compact the skin and bring the corners to where they belong, and then in between the corners, in between those points, you glue the skin exactly where they belong to. And don't worry about the excess. If you have casted your skull off of the real size, then it's going to be a right fit no matter what you do. Even if the skin looks twice as big as the skull, it's still going to work out perfectly fine. Just keep in mind that the skin should not be stretched, should be sitting on the skull relaxed, totally relaxed, because there is no skin on any animal under pressure of being stretched. So when you mount it, same thing applies. If you think that you're fighting with the mount because the skin is too short or is not getting together for sewing easy, there's something wrong somewhere. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked here. So I'm basically putting the wires into the wings now, and the drumstick as well. Keep your towels handy, so as soon as you feel a little bit of extra moisture somewhere, you can just dry it out. I didn't film it when I was doing this video, but the drumsticks were built up by cotton. I don't think I filmed it, but you've seen it in my other videos that I built them up with cotton or um, the artificial batting material. It's time to insert the body. We already have all the points marked on the body, so we know exactly where our wing and leg wires are going to go. Leave the excess wire for the thigh bone. Bend the excess wire back into the body. Make sure you tap it in, and you will be good to go. Everything has been marked before. Now all the wires are in. We just have to pull the skin over and start sewing it. Let's do a fast job in here. And then it would be time to blow dry. So I'm gonna fast forward during these two processes. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. The second segment is coming up. I invite you to stick around and watch the second video. That is for grooming and posing the snowy owl. This owl is going to be on a little snow scenery, and you'll like the end result.